Righto, just so I can have a bit of a break from what's been cleaning up and getting some workbenches a bit clear, I thought I'd have a little look at what a great mate of mine sent up today. Now I'm just feeding in about minus 115 dBm there, so it's receiving beautifully, no problems there. I thought we'd just fire them up just for the legalities. We're into a dummy load on a 2955B test set, so there's no antennas connected or anything like that, so just got to cover that initially. But what we're covering today is just the history. Let me just go to TX test so we can get rid of that noise. This is the UFO Digiscan. Now, a lot of the President grants had the RDS ones on them, and then as time moved on, the UFO came out. The UFO was pretty versatile as to what it could go on there. Good little unit, not without their little issues, but you know, certainly pretty much they all function the same, up, down, etc, etc, in the red co range. Now, this is where the legality bit comes into it, of course. 28 megs down to 26 megs. Now, Brendan, my good old mate, actually has a version of this that goes up to 30 megs, which I think, you know, 25995, sorry. And when you turn off and on, I think 155, yeah, it comes back 155. So, yes, there is a version that's very, very rare. Brendan asked me, have you got one of these? I went, I thought, you're having a go at me here. He knows I haven't got one, he's just been a pain, but in a good way. I tell you what, I don't know where he got that from, but it is a nice, for someone like me, I probably prefer a device like this for getting around, you know, on a radio like this on 10 metres, and that's just me. I'm a bit of a 10 metre fanatic. I understand that people may choose to use them on CB just for the, you know, the legals. No, not legal, so, you know, I'll just cover that. I was going to play a joke on a mate of mine, Steve, and say, listen, let's just get him on air and we'll, you know, have a bit of fun. But I decided not to do that. He also might be an ACMA inspector, but he's a good guy, by the way. One of the things that just some history to be able to have this gear these days. It's not as simple as just telling somebody that you don't use it. Or you only use it on receive. Unfortunately, that won't be enough from my understanding of what I've been told. So please, you know, also clarify anything I say with ACMA. If you think I'm saying something that's wrong, please, I would love to be corrected. I would love to be able to say that this could be used on any frequency and blah blah blah, but no. Anyway, okay, so what I really wanted to show today is not the big argument over whether or not it legally can be used or not, because I think that's pretty clear. No. Okay, but what I did want to show is the history of, you know, the UFO. Now, I really should have grabbed one of our RDS1 units, and I've got an RDS2 and an O2A, put them there too, but we'll do something on that later at some stage, and we'll put them all together. But what really had me interested with Brendan's, just introduce Brendan, VK3MH, great mate of mine, and you won't get a better tech out there, very, very smart boy. But God knows where he found this one from, because I haven't seen one of these before. And to be very honest with you, if you said to me, oh right, so what does ANCS stand for? You know what, I don't know. If we look on the back of it, maybe, I don't know. No, that's all right, I just thought I'd have a little look. If we look underneath, no. Okay, so I'm not sure who actually made these, but I was so interested to buy this just to have a good look at it, and yeah, a bit of a demo, sure, but let's have a look. So fast up, so they're going in 10 kc there, going up, etc, etc. Whoops, maybe if I go slow down, there we go. So very much the same sort of looking device, but just looking at the ribbon cable, this was an RF device in the way they fed into the local oscillator. This here fed straight to the PLL, and this is basically, it's basically opening and closing lines on the PLL, you know, sort of 320 kc lines, 640 kc lines, 10 kc. So pretty much just think of your binary and divisions of it, and pretty much that's how this unit works. This works on a very, well, it's a similar principle in some respects, but it doesn't, all the smarts are in here, this box is doing everything that feeds. Now, this channel selector obviously useless. Don't get me wrong, this channel selector is useless too, but with this one here, this is really just opening and shutting different gates. It's all it's doing is saying, right, you know, I'm going to open this track, close this one, open this track, close this one. This one doesn't do it that way. This one feeds into the IF and a whole different idea with the UFOs. But yeah, look, the other thing I'll probably do, because I just can't live with it this way, I'm probably going to hook up some form of channel switch back on here, just to have a channel switch back running with it, so that you've got this look here. And in some respects, this radio, quite seriously, for what Brendan sold it for, he was extremely fair, because already the value, and I don't know if you've been keeping up with the value of 40 channel switches lately, but the more that I move forward, the more that I'm finding them hard to get. So whilst I won't speak to specific values, because you know that's how long's a piece of string sometimes, I will say that a lot of them are getting harder and harder to find. Now, this one's got an 18 channel switch in it, so we wouldn't change that, and the reason is that we know that how we're going to get around the frequencies, and what we didn't sort of check was how far up does it go, and we'll find out as I'm finding out right now. I would say probably 28 megs, maybe it ventures further, 28045. Okay, well that's interesting. Now, to save us some time, what I can do is do that and then go fast down. So I want to come around this way, and I would say it probably just either goes to 26045 or maybe 25995, something like that, etc, etc. But look, this device here, whilst it's in a you know, slight, well, much bigger box than the Redco design, 26055. So there you go. And once again, if I just want to get back there we go, and we're back on to now. Isn't that interesting that it's actually set its initial frequency at 055? I might have understood 025 for the Super Bowl, 065 for the call channel, 085, sorry, for the call channel. So what was 055? That was an old truckies channel, I think. Oh, there you go. Maybe they were designed for truck drivers. But yeah, so in our case here, we're just basically going to go back up to 355, where you know the activity tends to be, and there we go. Oh, centre clear. Got it. So instead of me turning off the radio like I've been doing, I could have just hit centre clear. So there you go. So look, not a bad design for what it is. Most of you that know me, slow up. Most of you know me. I like, you know, some of the versatility of what was available 70s, 80s, 90s, and you don't get me so excited about some of the stuff that's maybe been produced in the last 10 years, but certainly you do with you know, some of this gear that's you know, dates back. Be interesting if you know more about this than I do. I'd be very interested to know what the ANCS. So please in the comments feel free to you know, educate me, because I do not have much background on this one. I probably could just ring Brendan and he'd tell me, but you know, let's do it the hard way. All right, so at the moment, look, I'm not going to do a great big test on these. Brendan's that sort of tech that, you know, I'll guarantee I'm just on AM. It's got power, 5.3 watts, of course it's going to have sideband. 13 watts, 1, 2, 1, 2. So, you know, that's all good and all very nice, but look, I must admit, that's exactly what I would have expected with Brendan. Now, luckily we've got the original President mics for these, and also the Cobra mics for these, so these will switch out and go to something else, and we'll just throw the original mics on, but that's all pretty minor. One thing about Brendan, now look, this is not having a shot at anyone in particular, but the amount of radios we get sent to us, no power cord, sometimes no microphone. Normally we get a mic, to be fair, but the amount of ones that come through with no power cords, and I never complain, I just go, look, it's all good. But guys, you know, if you do think to put the power cords in, it does help us sometimes. But we do, you know, we buy them at Wes. Although we do have trouble getting the 2-pin figure 8s for the cybernets. We've got enough here just to do what we've got for our own collection, but it's always a bother. I've got to cut down the square looking 2 pins to make them into cybernets, where the 3 pins, just if you're ever looking for a 3-pin power cord for these, which is what they use on the back here, over here and over there, they're available out of Wes for about $5. It's a little bit under, I think, from memory. I think it's $3.65, something like that. So I just do a stock order with Wes every now and again. Let's just hook up the Cobra into the monitor just to say we did it. Okay. 115 dBm. Let's go over to transmit. It's receiving beautifully. Look, I don't even have to check these things with Brendan. 4 watts of power, 4.1. Yeah. It's getting boring, isn't it? These things just work. And what have we got? Sideband over here, and hello. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. You're hearing us all coming through this one. So yeah, look, plenty of watts, plenty of power. Look, and this is why I hardly ever check a radio that comes from Brendan. But we're going to really clean these up and have a really nice sort of working display of probably about 12 or 15 of the various Digiscan radios. We're just working on the original Ross Keogh strictly ham Courier Spartan. It's got a PLL issue and it's got an RDS1 on a Courier Spartan. That radio goes back to, a little birdie told me, VK3YW, good on you Steve, that this was one of Ross's earliest radios, so we want to get that PLL running. It's not there yet and it's got a little bit of work to go on it, but that'll be in the collection of when we do an array of Digiscan radios. Now, once again, I just want to cover it one more time. Please don't use these on CB radio. For that matter, it's questionable at the moment under the current understanding of the Radcom Act, even on 28490. It's that one I'm having trouble understanding, to be very honest. And one day someone's going to explain it to me. Although I think way before that happens, the new Radcom Act will be out and we'll have a whole new set of definitions. So it's okay for me to show you this on dummy load. If I put these on an antenna and I start transmitting, you need to have a look at some of the sections of the Act, specifically 158, 160, section 46, etc., and the understandings of type approval. Basically, this was a type approved radio before this here was put on it. It also became non-type approved to some extent the minute it did, 15 to 20 watts. Now, ACMA not in the business of chasing people over, 4 watts over power, I don't think. But they might be in the business of having a little bit of a go about these sort of things here, and transmitting on 27555, let's say, talking away. Look, most of you guys know that if you are doing it, you're generally doing it with ham sets and things, so you're already across the law and how it works. So just be a little bit mindful that these now have become display radios as such. And one of the justifications that I always make is that I couldn't possibly use every radio I've got here if I tried. We've got a lot of working demos of a lot of different things that would be deemed not fitting type approval. Now we have a specific license to cover that, which is great. By the same token, we really have to, in our situation, make sure that we're towing the line, because there's a little bit more at stake here than the average person with 1 or 2 radios. So if it seems like I'm a little bit over the top with that, I am a little, because I need to make sure that we don't have a truck roll up one day and decide, well, let's see if we can test the law out and take everything. But that is the last thing that's on my mind from ACMA. I think they've been great, to be honest, and really the new Act, I think, provides a lot more definition, hopefully, because there's too many people ask me, what about if I've got an Ft101E and it originally had 27 megs in it from the day it was sold in the 1970s? Do I have to suddenly not use that radio? Bloody good question. I'm still not really getting a clear answer from ACMA on that one, and I really would say to you, please, definitely talk to them about these types of issues, because as amateurs, and I'm speaking from an amateur point of view now, I think we should have the right to have that equipment and use it for the purposes that we know to be legal. Those that might be illegal these days, i.e. 27 megs on an Ft101E, Ft101B, let me get this right too, sorry, the 101 and the B had 27 standard, the E didn't, I don't think, from memory. Oh, I'm going to fall over with that one now. No, I don't think it did. Anyway, you know what I'm saying. We need to really, as amateurs, be, I think, given some credit for the fact that we're going to try to do the right thing as much as possible, and I think ACMA is understanding that too. So anyway, enough raving on about all that. I know I get into this every time I put something up that's not type approved, but believe me, look, we're about to bring the Nitro Bengal back on dummy load, and if those that know me well, the Nitro Bengal and the amplifier shootout was what got me into trouble to start with. So we'll be doing that one on dummy load, but I do want to bring that video back and show you what happened in the 1980s, 1990s, what sort of things people were doing, not for the purpose of showing you how you could be using this tomorrow on 27 megs. It's actually to show you what was used in yesteryear on 27 megs, and that's what we're trying to display. All right, 73s to you. Thanks very much, Brendan. I love these 2 radios you sent up, mate. I tell you, your packing is unreal. Oh, hang on, let me show you something. Okay, only Brendan could send. You gotta love him. All right, 73s to you all. Brendan, you know what? I used to drink scotch with this guy in pole dancing clubs, so I suppose I deserve this. All right, all the best, guys. Cheers, VK3, Charlie Mike. Please subscribe. Thanks very much. We're getting some really good feedback lately, and I'll monetize soon, and I'll be worth $1 million a year in YouTube money. Ha! 73s, all the best.